I mean, if you
All
want
right, 8, 6, 5. Hey, welcome to the JaySquared Podcast. I'm Jesoma.
I'm J-Rock.
And we have an amazing show for you guys today. We are back.
Yeah, volume 2.
Volume 2. How do you feel about that?
I didn't think we were going to do more than one.
I didn't even think we were going to get past like 2.
Exactly. So this is pretty sick.
And it's awesome. I mean, if you guys have been wondering, we've been gone for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of a mental vacation, physical vacation, had a lot of things going on. So we just wanted to step back.
We needed to like get that energy back again.
Do you feel rejuvenated? Do you feel good?
Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
I started going back to therapy. So I feel a lot better. I took some time off of going to therapy. I don't know. I just felt like I didn't have enough time. I was making a lot of excuses for myself. But I really needed to. And I feel rejuvenated. I feel good. I feel happy. Talk space. I feel like
Still waiting for the sponsorship.
I know, right? Yo, you know it's disrespectful. They sponsored Brilliant Idiots. They didn't sponsor us. Bullshit.
The hate.
Anyway. No, but I feel good. I feel rejuvenated. I feel happy. I feel like I'm getting myself on track, and that's the most important part, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel? How's your week?
My week?
Or your weeks?
My weeks? So part of why we took a little hiatus is because I also needed a mental break. It's been crazy, but now it's like finally getting better. So
proud of you, man. That's great.
Thank you.
I don't think that, and it's interesting because those breaks are never going to be not a thing. Like a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I took a mental break. I don't need another one for like the next few years. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's always going to be necessary.
So we're glad to be back. Glad that you guys stayed with us. And we're going to get into sports and entertainment.
For sure. So, NBA. What's going on? What's going on?
A lot. A lot. We could start with Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving.
This is all right. So, in my time off, I've actually been dabbling in more sports related stuff. So, I know a little bit about what's going on here. Ben Simmons, I don't know why he is doing what he's doing as far as not committing as much, because he's not. I mean, if I really wanted to be a draw for a team, I would actually put in the work to show why I am capable to be a draw for another team. Yeah.
So I feel like the big thing with Ben Simmons is like he needs to get mental help when it comes to like basketball, and it's important for athletes to have someone to talk to because he's going through a tough time, but he's not helping himself.
Yeah.
He's not helping. Well, the Sixers aren't helping. The situation, I feel like, is a lose-lose for both sides, just because the Sixers wanted to trade him, but are asking for way too much. And Ben Simmons, like, his talent is not there to get the trades that they want.
Yeah. I feel like he kind of peaked and people were waiting for him to get better, but he never got better.
He can't shoot.
Yeah. As opposed to other people who have, like, for example, like Giannis. Giannis. I'm going to fuck it up. I don't like.
Yeah, I forgot you can't read.
Can't read.
Yeah.
Can't spell. What do you want to do? So pretty much like Giannis, we saw him get to a level and it was like make or break. Like, all right, what's going to send you over the top is if you're able to become a fucking monster. Yeah. And he did that. Yeah. And him and Ben Simmons were on that like same page where they were going to be the next stars.
Yeah. And the thing with Ben Simmons now is like, you're not showing up with the Sixers. You're not trying to help.
Yeah, he's not
your
trying,
stock at all. So no one wants to trade for you. And you're not playing basketball. You're getting fined. So
it's just strange. It's a strange situation to be in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he gets the help he needs because I feel like that will play a part in what happens to him. Yeah. Or he should just probably retire.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like, I mean, if you're just gonna do it for the money at that point, then just take the time off and, leave it alone. Yeah. And now we have Kyrie Irving. Yeah. He doesn't want to get vaccinated. Okay. And he doesn't want people to force him to get vaccinated. He's just kind of like.
His stance is a little bit weird because at first he said that he didn't want anybody to know why he doesn't want to get vaccinated. And then his PR team came out and said, oh, it's because, there's other people who are losing their jobs who aren't getting vaccinated. And then he went on IG Live and did his whole little...
Yeah, had his whole, pretty much...
thing.
Yeah.
We don't even know how to phrase it.
Yeah, because it was, kind of like a...
It was weird.
What is it called? Pretty much he was just going out there and, let me clear the air about what's going on. He didn't clear up anything.
He didn't clear anything. He just kept... saying words that made no sense to what people wanted to know. So I really don't understand Kyrie. I feel like he's trying to be smart, but he's not. Or he wants to come across as this
philosophical and shit
super
like that.
Smart, above everybody else, and it doesn't work.
I mean, and if he just didn't want to get the vaccine and he's like, I just don't want to get it, then just say that. That's fine. Yeah. Nobody's just take the fines, don't go, don't do what you're paid to do, and take your stance in that way.
He's another person that I've been saying for years that he needs to retire.
Yeah.
At this point, he doesn't want to play ball.
Yeah. I mean, and at this point, it's one of those things where it's just leave it alone.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kyrie, you're a great basketball player, but we'll just leave you alone.
Yeah, man. I mean, and a lot of people, they gave... because if you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. For example, with LeBron, when he got the vaccine, he's like, yeah, I got vaccinated, but, everybody has their own personal choice. And I'm not going to jump into somebody's, livelihood and tell them what to do with their bodies, that type of thing. And people are still going to give you shit for that. You're like, oh, my God, you should have done this, and that.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get any crap from anybody who's for it or who's against it. So, I mean, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, do what you guys feel is healthy for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who cares what anybody else thinks?
So, in regards to the NBA, what teams are booming? What teams are busting?
All right. Teams that are booming. The Warriors.
Of course.
And that's without Klay Thompson or James Wiseman. Just yet.
This fucking guy.
Saying Steph Curry MVP. Just throwing that out there. The Miami Heat.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler MVP. That's another one, too. Tyler Hero was good.
Yeah.
Most improved player. 6th man of the year.
I see it. I mean, of course.
The Heat look good.
Yeah, the Heat look great. They look incredible. But, like we were saying, there's some minor fixes that everybody, we can all have.
Yeah.
Some things that are probably going to...
Little tweaks that both of these teams could do. Another team, the Bulls.
Yeah, you know
Bulls
what?
look good.
It's funny. I didn't think that that they were gonna be succeeding the way that they are. I didn't think that they had the star power or the strength to go ahead and do what they've been doing, but they've been proving me the fuck wrong. I think they're the underdogs.
I would say the Knicks are the underdogs.
The Knicks,
but
yes.
We'll leave that for later.
Yeah.
Teams that are busting.
Yes.
Let's start with the Clippers.
Okay, the Clippers. I mean, we saw this coming last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Kawhi. So.
And even aside from that, it was they didn't have the mental strength to be that team.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see PG leading. As I don't see anything in him that stands out from real superstars.
But you know what's fucked up? It's aside from that, he's a ghost of himself because of his injury that he had when he was on the Pacers. Because Pacers PG.
Oh yeah,
that was a different animal. He went up when he went up against the Heat. You're going up against
LeBron, Wade, Bosh, yeah.
And he was incredible. But now it's kind of a shell of himself. You see him do some amazing things every once in a while. But
I feel like he just needs to maintain his confidence up because he could be that superstar, but I just don't see it yet.
Yeah, I don't think that
as consistent as it should be.
I don't think anybody on the team is really that leader, that person that's going to pretty much take them to the next level.
Yeah.
And there's only so much talent can do for you. For example, on the Nets, you have KD whose talent outweighs his leadership. So it's they become a top tier team because of how talented the team players are. James Harden, talent outweighs it. Kyrie, his talent outweighs it.
Yeah, but he's not playing.
I know, but put them all three together, then their talent outweighs the leadership roles that need to be made.
Yes, but leadership is important.
It is very important.
Yeah. All right, Celtics. So, Celtics are struggling really bad.
I like them so much.
I don't care for them.
Really?
Yeah. But I feel like it's because people figured out how the Celtics play. You're going to give it to Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just
those are the two players that I like the most. Like, it's like you take something away from those teams. Like, you could take away something from the Warriors. You could take away Stephen Curry, lock him down, whatever, which is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
or difficult.
Let's say you lock down Stephen Curry.
Mm-hmm.
You lock him down. Now you have to go ahead and worry about everybody fucking else.
And the thing is, like, the Celtics don't have that.
Exactly.
They don't have those key players like the Warriors do, like the Heat do. So that's the problem with the Celtics.
And
now,
I think what makes it even more difficult is that locking down that one player and having to worry about everybody else, it takes so much energy to stop that one person. I don't think that's what happens when it comes to Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Like, I think that they can find their matchup. Like, any team has the matchup for them, at least defensively.
Yeah. I mean, it's different with Steph. He's just rare.
Just an animal.
Yeah. And to finish it off, the Lakers.
This one hurts because I'm a big Braun fan. Like, I like the person on the court, and it means even more to me when I like the person off the court. Yeah. You know? And they're struggling.
I'm not putting this on LeBron.
Oh, okay.
Because LeBron, he's doing his work with his age. He's still putting up great numbers and actually balling. But the trades, the role players.
Just say it. I know what you want to say.
Russell Westbrook.
I knew it. I know.
I told you from the beginning. As soon as they got Russell Westbrook, I was like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And it's not working. And I'm going to say this now. I think the Lakers will trade Russell Westbrook either in the midseason or I don't know when, but I'm pretty sure they're going to trade him. He's not going to work with the Lakers.
I don't know. This is why I'm saying this. Because he has proven to, at least in the past teams, he's proven to be a role player.
No.
I don't know. When he was on the Wizards?
No. It was him ball dominant, and then he would occasionally pass it to Bradley Beal. Yeah. And then there was a couple months where Bradley Beal didn't play. Okay. And then with OKC, you could see he tried it with James Harden in Houston, didn't work. In OKC, they tried it with KD, didn't work.
You think he's just uncoachable?
I don't think he's uncoachable. I just don't think he fits certain teams. He fit with the Wizards.
Okay.
But he doesn't fit with sharing the ball. He needs to be the ball dominant player. And you can't do that with the Lakers, with LeBron, with AD, and with Melo. Yeah,
because Melo's been balling.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the other thing with Westbrook, his shooting is
terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
Not good.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a such thing when it comes to that as overconfidence? Because I think that's what's going on.
With Westbrook?
Yeah.
Probably. But, I mean, he should be overconfident. He's an NBA player. Like, he's a triple-double king. Like, he has the talent.
But overconfidence in the sense where it's like you're doing too much.
Yeah, but you can't tell Russell Westbrook that. That's how he plays. That's how he plays, though. That's like
okay,
his DNA.
I get you. It got you this far. It's hard to go ahead and down it. But isn't that what a great NBA player does? They're able to adjust.
Yeah, but he hasn't adjusted to any of that. I just feel like him leaving the Wizards wasn't a good move.
Yeah.
I felt like he had a good role with the Wizards. But, yeah, moving on.
That's true. Oof.
All right.
So.
Travis Scott.
All right. So, Travis Scott, he had a concert. He has a concert called Astroworld, the Astroworld Festival. Mm-hmm. And it became a disaster.
Yeah. So, there was supposed to be only 50,000 tickets sold, but he was trying to get more people to come into the to the festival. And he was even tweeting out, if I want all the crazy ragers in there, so break in, like sneak in, break the barriers, just come watch me perform. And it ended up being over 100,000 people that showed up. And, well, what came out of it was death and injuries. And
so pretty much about, I think it was like, what was it, 8 people or 10 people? 8 people died, and hundreds of people were injured.
Mm-hmm. And it's a mess. If you've been on social media, like me personally, I actually watched this on Apple Music when it was streaming, which there was an ambulance in the set driving in the crowd. And Travis Scott didn't, like, acknowledged it, but didn't really say, like, hey, guys, like, spread out, let the ambulance come in or anything like that. And then went into a song, and people were climbing on the ambulance to, like, jam out and rage.
And that's one of the things, like, when you are as big, I think it's partially not knowing how big you are, like not really acknowledging how big you are, and also
influence.
How much influence you have, not knowing that there's a mixture of that and undying loyalty from a fan.
Yeah.
So when you act, you're responsible. Yeah. You have to be responsible. So when you have an ambulance driving through the crowd, common sense would tell you, hey, listen, something's going on there. Let's stop the show and let these people work. Yeah. Instead of doing that, you kind of go ahead and you allow it to happen, and you encourage, more destruction. Yeah. When as an artist, like, dude, being on stage, us being in mosh pits and things like that, we know that when somebody gets hurt,
you pick them up, you make sure they're okay. But so Travis Scott has this type of vibe at his concerts where it's like, if you're not getting hurt in the mosh pit, you're not doing it right. Yeah. And that's not how you mosh, at least at rock shows or other events.
I'll say rock shows because that's where, like, those things kind of, like, are.
Yeah. So that's the problem with this. Like, he promotes it in his music. He promotes it at his festivals. The problem, like, there's so many things that went wrong with this festival. Yeah. Like, we could start with, there was only 2 water stations. How are you going to only have 2 water stations for 50,000 people?
100,000 people.
Well, at the end of the day, yeah.
Exactly.
That makes no sense. Also, they had no medical equipment, no AED machine. Like, the volunteers or the people who were medics had no idea how to do CPR, administer CPR. They didn't have, like, the CPR masks that you put on. I'm CPR certified. So there's a mask that you put on people so you don't, like, make contact with their mouth, just to get, like, the breaths in. They didn't have that. They didn't have gloves. They didn't have, like, a first aid kit. How do you expect to go to a show like that thinking, like, there should at least be a med tent or something?
I think that, like, at that point, it could have been even more overwhelming for somebody. Let's say, like you said, if I'm a volunteer, right, and I'm working with what they gave me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for them.
They cut corners.
Yeah.
Because if I'm working with what they gave me and I don't have enough equipment, I don't have the experience to deal with 100,000 people just surrounding me, like, oh my God, help.
Yeah. Security failed them. Well, the organization or whoever organized this festival failed them. Travis Scott failed them.
Of course. Yeah.
And, like, even more, like, if you've seen the videos on social media, like, the fans who were jumping on the cameras saying, hey, like, tell them to stop. We need help. And the camera people who did absolutely nothing.
Did nothing.
Apple Music, what the fuck was that?
That was the most. That was the most, like, to me, I was watching that, and it was the most inhumane thing I've seen. It's one of those, like, it's like a simulation. Like, it was one of those simulation moments where you're like, oh, nothing is real.
Yeah, like, because no matter how loud I scream, how much I beg, you're not going to help me.
because you realize that this young woman's like, and this young man are like, yo, this person's dying. Hey, man, I got to make this shit look cool.
Yeah, like, move out the stream. Exactly. Oh, yeah, we can't stop the stream because this is live.
Yo, like, it's
what?
Like,
there's people dying.
And that's what, like, kind of, that disconnect between that and humanity is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah. And there's conspiracy theories going on about it because there are signs that said, will you make it out alive, or will we make it out alive? Yeah. At the end of the concert on stage, Travis Scott wrote, or on the TV, they wrote, see you on the other side. The promotion for it had a lot of triangles and diamonds
and eyes in the triangles and stuff like that.
So like people are saying, oh, this is just a human sacrifice for the Illuminati. And people are like, it's feeding into the conspiracy theories because there's so much evidence. But
it's also strange because it's like,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think of in my head, at least in the back of my head. I'm like, are they really ambulances? Like we were talking about it, like you're talking about, were they really ambulances and stuff like that? It could have been a play into that. I personally think that maybe if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would think that maybe he knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Maybe not to that extent, but he knew that there was not going to be a good outcome on with this whole situation. Yeah. And he was kind of foreshadowing like his cancellation, what's going to happen in the
future. Yeah.
The future. And he's probably, and the biggest thing that worries me, I was telling you guys about it, was that people are going to be encouraged after he comes out of cancellation, since, this woke cancellation culture that happens, so frequently. After this happens, or after this, kind of blows over, which I think is going to happen for him in years. I hope not, but which I think is going to happen in years, then it's going to be a marketing tactic that will be used by his PR team to encourage people to come, like the deadliest concert
festival ever.
Yeah. So
I could see that happening too. But
it's hard, man. It's hard.
Rest in peace to everybody who lost their lives.
And keeping you guys in our prayers.
Yeah, and hopefully, once more information comes out, hopefully no more people are dead. Yeah. But for one to be dead is too much. Too many. But, all right. So, we're going to move on to our new
segment.
New segment little thing.
It's our series recap. So, pretty much a series recap. We recap the series that you guys recommend or the movies that you guys recommend. And we let you guys know what we think about it.
And how we feel.
And we don't really talk. We talk to each other about it, but we don't go as deep as we go when we're here. So you're going to really know how I feel about this shit.
All right. Squid Games. Really quick. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I thought it was amazing. I loved it. It was a good breakthrough and a good refresher from what we've been watching. It's different, and it's not something that I'm bored of watching. There's a lot of things that come out of it from left field. It was great. I liked it.
Okay. I thought it was overhyped. I thought it was good. I don't think it's one of the best shows out there. People overhyped it too much because I feel like the first 2 episodes dragged, and anything outside of the games I do not care for.
Okay.
So also the ending, I kind of agree with LeBron. Why didn't he just go home and watch his kids or go visit his daughter? Why did he come back? What's the whole point of him coming back into the games? I get it, we're probably gonna get a season 2, but that to me was stupid. But yeah, that's how I feel about Squid Games.
I think that this is why I don't watch trailers, man. Let me explain. I think that once you already have an expectation for something, then that's what's going to make it that much harder to enjoy.
All right, well, I didn't watch any trailer for Squid Games.
I'm not talking about trailers, but you saw people review it. People review it. You saw how people
told me exactly to watch it.
And I'm a part of the problem. I get it.
Okay, so
I'm just saying that when you go ahead and you kind of have a perception of something, this is supposed to be amazing, and then it's not amazing and it falls short, even though it might have been good, you're gonna be like, that was all right.
It was all right. honestly.
Sick of this
All
place,
right.
man. I'm sick of this
Next.
place.
Invasion on Apple TV.
Go ahead. Tell me how you felt.
So I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and I like it so far.
Okay.
It's not what I expected it to be, because I thought it was just going to be a couple characters, but now it's switched to like different areas. But I think you've watched more episodes than me.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
That shit boring.
Oh, really?
That shit boring.
Damn.
I'm not going to lie. All right. So
after the first 2 episodes, it dropped?
It's not even that. No. Okay. So this is my thing. I am not a huge fan. These episodes are very long, right?
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of it building up a suspense for things not to happen. Like, it's just boring. It's like, all right, oh, it's ominous.
Mm-hmm.
But something has to happen.
Okay.
And nothing's happening. So I'm just like, the suspense isn't killing me. You get what I mean? I get it, that there's like an extraterrestrial, whatever it is.
Great job spoiling it. Moving on to our movies. Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills. All right. So me personally, one of my top fucking scary movies.
Yo, it was good. It was really good. I know people were shitting on it. What is your problem?
That's crazy to me.
It was such a good movie.
I fucking love that movie.
It was amazing.
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing any, like, movie critique could tell me.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that anybody could tell me. That shit was fucking fire. Like,
it was so much fun to watch.
Exactly.
It had scary moments or, like, pop-up moments where we actually legit, like, jumped. And it's going to continue because I'm pretty sure the next one comes out next year.
See, now look at you spoiling shit.
No,
but
everyone knew that.
Mm-hmm.
It was released before this movie came out.
So anyway, but like, in my personal opinion, when I was watching it, I felt scared for everybody there. And on top of that, when you're watching it, you get to understand how the influence that people have on everybody else others around them.
Yeah. And also the big thing is like what they've moved from. Like in the 80s, it was usually you use music for suspense. So the music builds it up so you know when it's going to happen. Yeah. Now it's just silence. Yeah. So it pops out of nowhere and you're kind of like, oh, snap. That's the best thing about this movie.
And we saw it weeks ago and we're still so hyped about it. That's how you know it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. All right.
Loved it.
Let's end it off. Eternals. We watched this.
We watched it yesterday. Yeah, last night.
You go first.
All right. I thought it was good. I liked it. I'm looking at you.
Here comes the bullshit. Continue, because I still don't understand.
I feel like I'm scolding someone. I liked it, but I felt like there were quite a few plot holes and a lot of missed opportunities. Okay. But I did like the movie. It was enjoyable. It kept me up. It kept me on my toes because it's a very long movie for any movie, not just a Marvel movie. But I did not feel bored. I didn't feel like I had to.
It didn't feel like a long movie.
Yeah, it felt like a regular timed movie. So it was great. I liked it. But my personal opinion is that it had a lot of plot holes that. It fell short a little bit of what I was expecting, but there I go with my expectations. So
this guy, yeah. I'm kind of with you. I thought it was a good movie. Like I enjoyed it. I had fun. I don't understand the hate though, because people were saying it's really bad, and it's not really bad at all. It's not at all. I think I understand some of the criticism where it comes to like placement. Should this movie have come out now? I don't think so. Should have come out like before or the end of the previous phase. Yeah. I just don't understand the placement of the movie and how this is going to connect to the movies that we're actually looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think that's
what I don't understand.
I think it's going to create like its own like it's going to branch off.
Yeah. It's going to be like an X-Men thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So like Marvel's here, Eternals is part of Marvel, or like X-Men is part of Marvel as well, but they're going to have their own little branch because right now it makes no sense to our timeline.
And that's what confuses me the most. It's like, why are we doing this? Kind of like.
Yeah. So that's my only critique that I understand. Everything else No. Like, you guys are just hating.
I knew it.
It was bound to happen. But all right, that's the end of our series recap. Guys, if you have any recommendations on movies, TV shows that we should watch, let us know. We'll put up a little question or DM us. We're always down for any recommendations.
We want to check out what you guys are watching. We want to watch what you guys watch, and we're definitely gonna go ahead and jump into reviewing it.
Speaking of jumping in.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and jump into our interview?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Awesome. So how are you today, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How's everything going for you guys?
Good. We're in a bookstore for you.
I see.
So,
I don't see my book on that shelf, though. We got to...
You know what? We pre-ordered it. It's in the mail. It's coming through. So definitely long overdue. I feel like we've been, in the midst of working this out for a while now, and we finally get to do it. Unfortunately, you're not in Miami. We're not over there. This is actually our first Zoom meeting. Yeah. So okay. What we wanted to do is pretty much wanted you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
My name is Lil Pie McElveen. I am from Paterson, New Jersey. I'm a dad. I'm an educator. I'm an author, and I'm a coach. Life coach, relationships coach, and just like to kind of help out as much as I can.
So how does that work for you, man? Because it's kind of like you're a jack of all trades in a sense. Like you pretty much do it all, and you've been through a lot, and it seems like such a short time.
Well, what happens is it's not so much of me being a jack of all trades, right? Everything that I do is kind of interlinks, right, and intertwines with the next thing. As a dad, what it's like to nurture, raise, and make sure your kids are good as a father. And then being an educator, you kind of have that same quality and making sure the kids are good, making sure they're prepared for the next level, making sure they're prepared for a test. So it's kind of the same thing. And you have kids that can't quite express themselves when they're going through tough times in life. So you kind of become a coach in that sense too, right? So not just educating them in terms of academically and lessons, right? You still have to kind of be a counselor. Although I'm not the school's counselor, but you still have to kind of be a counselor because once they gain that trust in you, like you're pretty much the only person that they want to speak with or talk to because they don't all have that at home. So it all just kind of, falls in line with, just whatever the base is in terms of being an individual, number one, a caring individual with compassion. So that just kind of, allows me to be all of these things at the same time.
Yeah. So it's kind of like linked together, like how you learn how to do one thing and that kind of links into this next project that you're going to and into the next project that you're going through. Yeah. And it's kind of something like a transition, as some would say. Speaking about it, tell us about it. Tell us about the book The Transition.
The Transition. That was a book that I wrote about a year or two ago. It was inspired by my life after divorce, right? So often we hear about the women's side of divorce and what they went through and what plagues them, not only during the marriage that caused them to get divorced, but just their process of getting through, the divorce period, the grieving. What can I do to get back into dating? How could I move forward with just, my life in general? So we often hear about, the woman's side of it. So I just wanted to kind of share with people from a man's perspective, right? Because we grieve, right? We're emotionally
of course.
We have those moments. We have our down moments where we cry. We have our down moments where, we're figuring out, was it even worth it from the beginning? Or did I just waste all my time? Or what could I have done better as an individual, maybe to avoid this situation? And then the most important component is the kids, right? They didn't ask to be divorced. That was a situation that was forced upon them due to two irresponsible adults making this decision based on their feelings, their emotions, right? So now you have the kids who are wondering why this is going on. Like, did I do anything? Does dad not love me anymore that he doesn't want to be in the house with us? Or, what could I have done better to make sure you guys stayed together? So it's just a whole lot of things, man, that play into it. So I just wanted to kind of share from a man's perspective, right? Because not every man want to share that. They not every man wants to share their vulnerable moments and be transparent enough to say, hey, listen, we're humans, right? And we feel, we have emotions, and these are the processes that we have to go through as well as women during a divorce.
Yeah, it's a that to me speaks a lot because I'm a child that went through divorce as well. So like trying to get both perspectives and like even as a child thinking, oh, what if it's my fault? Like me and my brother thinking, oh, what if we played a part in it? So like getting that other perspective is pretty amazing.
Well, just to give you some assurance, I can guarantee you, you had no part in your parents like being divorced, right? So if you ever felt like that, or if that's weighing on you, I can tell you that's not it, right? Whatever the two adults go through, they go through that, right? That's their thing. So maybe some person, one of them just don't like the way another one deals in the relationship or with the relationship, or maybe it's just that someone's doing something outside of the relationship that's just not acceptable, right? And
Yeah.
won't allow the two to be together. So yeah, no, it definitely has nothing to do. If any man or woman says, I'm divorcing you because the kids are too much, that's bogus. That's just an
Yeah.
excuse that they want to use, right? To get away from the next individual. So yeah, rest assured, it definitely has nothing to do with you or your brother. It's just some things that they just couldn't agree on to move forward in life as a team. You know what I mean? As partners, in a marriage, anyway, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just some adult stuff, right? Just like being in a relationship as a teenager, right? If you have a
Mhm.
boyfriend or a girlfriend and just things just don't work out no more, right? They just don't work out. Like, I'm not feeling the same way you're feeling, so we just kind of got to go our separate ways. That's just what it is with that, right? So, but as a man, what I did and what I committed to, in terms of my kids, right? Because so many men, they divorce their ex-wives and they just go, like, they don't want to deal with the kids. They don't. So my thing was, I just wanted my kids to know that I divorced their mother and not them. So it was still my duty, right, to be dad, the protector, the provider, and just make sure that I'm still there every day. So my number one goal was, I never wanted my relationship to my kids to be narrowed into birthdays, holidays, summers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I was still heavily involved in their everyday lives. So I kind of found me a place, probably a block from where they live, just so that I can make
Wow.
sure that they still had the opportunity to not only leave home with daddy and go to school, if they felt like when they left school, they still wanted to see dad, right?
Yeah.
I was still close enough where they can be like, all right, instead of me going home today, I'm gonna go to dad's house, you know. And I was still at the football practices, the swim practices, the football games, the swim meets. So I just wanted to make sure that I stayed like extremely visible and always hands on, just so that they'll know that our connection would never subside because the relationship between their mother and I didn't work out. So I wanted them to have that reassurance that regardless of what goes on, dad is here and I'm going to remain here. So you guys are good.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
that's
That's
really
great.
great
Yeah.
because I know that a lot of people can't do that.
Mhm.
And I do have a question. Like when you go through that type of process, is there any time like, because it's a long time when it comes to raising kids, right? So is there any time when you're taking them from, the mom's place or something like that, and you're just in your head like, man, I wish it would have just worked.
Oh, without question, 100%, right? If anybody tells you anything different, either they were either it was really, 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 really bad, or they're just lying to you, right? Because regardless to like we all go through things, right? And not everything feels good to us. And sometimes even if a situation doesn't feel good, we still wish that it still could have worked out a different way,
Yes.
right? So yeah, there were those moments in the beginning. However, what snapped me out of those moments rather quickly was once as an individual, right? You started showing me that no matter how what I do to reach out to you,
Hmm.
you can care less about me and my feelings, then I'm quick to just be like, I'm good at that point because
Yeah.
I care enough about me not to allow you to just abuse me emotionally and mentally to the point where it's like I'm gonna just keep saying, well, maybe or maybe we're not doing
Yeah.
that. Once you like, listen, and you start being super duper cold, I'm gonna go put on a coat and just walk in another direction.
Damn.
That's
That's a
crazy.
great way to think about it. And
Yeah.
we did want to go ahead and follow up. What inspired you? Like, what caused you to start this journey of writing? Like, why did you start?
A lot of friends in the business and just friends that I knew had well, we were all going through. It seemed like we were going through this same situation all at the same time, right? And just being in a room with a bunch of men, man, sharing, right, and understanding that, man, like this is a real thing. This is a real thing. Like maybe others are feeling this way and they need to hear it, right? They need to hear it from someone because again, as men, right, we're all taught to be macho.
Yeah.
We can't show our feelings. We can't, remember as a little boy, you fall, you better not cry, so like we're taught not to show emotion. And I think that's a negative thing. And I think that creates like bad bad situations for men. I think that's how we end up with a lot of the crime rates being as high as they are because we don't allow these little boys to get their emotion out. So they become angry, right? So they
Yeah.
don't know how to show emotion or deal emotion. So we lose a lot of them to the streets. We lose a lot of them because they're angry about everything. So I felt like it was important for people to see that a man could be vulnerable, right? Expose himself emotionally, right? And still be good at the end of the day. So if I can do this, then you can do that, right? So now what we have is now we have a process where men are starting to heal, and not be angry, not be upset, not, so hey man, listen, there's nowhere and nobody, I don't care. You can write all the books you want. Like there's nowhere where men are not emotional beings. Let somebody in your family pass away that you really care for.
Mhm.
Or we watch athletes, right? As big and strong as they are. Let them break something or listen, they're crying. Let them lose a game that they're so passionate about, especially a Super Bowl or game
Or even
seven
when
in
they
the
win.
NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they really cry, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
let's stop that myth of that a man is not supposed to cry. That's crap. That's bull. Like cry. I tell my boys like, listen, if you're feeling a certain emotion, let's go. Like it's cool. It's cool. You can be sad, you can cry, right? So that you can heal yourself and get better and be focused to get to, the next level or the next phase of whatever it is you have to deal with.
And that was a hard thing because me growing up, of course, it was before the era where therapy was normalized and stuff like that. It was kind of like a stigma, especially in the Black household.
Yes.
So like for me, I didn't go. And like not even once I started going, I've always been emotional. We've been friends for like 10 plus years. She knows I've always been like super emotional. And outwardly I'm more comfortable because I'm able to go to therapy, talk about it. And the other day I just cried and it felt so good to kind of get over that hump. It gets you to the next level of who you want, like where you want to be in life, because it kind of holds us back when we hold that stuff in. And like you said, we're emotional creatures.
Yeah.
And I I love taking pages out of that. I love when I see, older men kind of normalize that because believe it or not, I mean, we look up to you and our next generation is going to look up to us. And if we see that you normalize, loving yourself, normalize, separating when things get bad. You're normalizing, especially in the book, and you're normalizing, crying, being okay to have emotions. Then that makes it okay for us, and we could pass that on. And I think
Yeah.
that's really amazing. At least to me.
I mean, here, right? Like, how can you truly move on, right, in life, in any industry, right? Whatever it is you do, male or female, how can you truly move on in life, right? When you're not true to you, right? And I don't mean that hip hop keep it real. I don't
Yeah,
mean that, right. I'm not talking
that
about
keep it up, keep it
yeah.
real.
I'm talking about I'm talking about really being true to who you are, right? So again, if you don't tap into yourself and learn who you are, right, then how can you be true to anyone else? Like now you're lying to everybody else because you don't even know who you are, right? So how can I love you when I don't even love me enough to take that moment to deal with me or to make sure I'm good, right? So we have
Yeah,
we have these things. I like to call them internal wounds, right? Think about all the traumatic experiences we've been through in life, not physically traumatic, right? But we get that emotional trauma, right? That mental trauma. Like you say, growing up in a black household, there's no way you're going to any type of therapy sessions. Like, yeah, we're not doing that. That's not, yo, man up. You know what I mean? Like, that's their answer to everything. The older generation, right? Or as a young lady, like it's like, so if we don't take that moment, right, to heal through these traumas, and the way to heal through them is what I found going through my whole divorce period. Because a lot of times what happens is we fear pain so much that we'll do all we can to maneuver around it, right? So
damn.
how are we truly healing, right? How are we truly healing if we don't face that pain head on, right? Because think about anything that happens to you in life. So think about this, right? I like to measure it up against a physical cut. Say you get a physical cut, right? It hurts. So say that whole healing process for a long time, you're still gonna feel that pain. There's no way around it. There's no way around that pain of a physical cut when it's healing. Then you start going through those situations where it's starting to heal, right? So the pain slowly subsides, right? Now you start getting that little itching feeling. Now you knowing it's healing, so you can feel that it's healing. The scab grows. You peel it off. What happens? It hurt again,
Mhm.
right? Because you didn't allow that scab to fall off on its own. So you didn't allow the process to complete itself so that it can properly heal. So, and that's what we do when we're struggling with emotional and mental trauma. We try to go around everything, and instead of just saying, because some nights, man, sometimes you can be thinking of things that happen to you, and you like it really hurts you, and you'll just break down. But we like to try to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Now we can't do that, right? We got to have that moment, break down, get through that pain so that we can get to the other side of it. And I think a lot of times we cheat ourselves out of the healing process because we don't want to, encounter the pain that it takes in order to get through the complete cycle. Yes.
And that speaks volumes, because it's like you're kind of you're kind of forcing yourself to get to the next level, but mentally, which is a lot harder than something that happened to you and it's visible and you can see it. When you look inside your heart, it gets a lot harder. And I mean, we kind of wanted to ask, like, what, when you're writing a book, like, what is the process like? Because I know that it takes a lot. And for anybody out there who's probably watching this, they want to know, like, who will be watching this, because it's
So,
pre-recorded, but definitely
we're
want to
good.
know, what is the process like? What do you go through when it comes to writing a book?
First of all, understanding the message that you want to get out there, understanding what you want people to get out of that particular reading, right? So um, that comes with once you come up with whatever it is you're writing about, because the transition isn't something I thought about, honestly. I really didn't think about it. I just, for some nights I was just laying down, and I'm a creator, so things just hit your head from time to time. And I just kept getting this title, the transition, the transition, the transition. So I asked my lady, I said, listen, I keep getting this thing, the transition. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with it, but I keep getting it. So I was like, I was talking to somebody one day, um, and we just got on the topic of divorce, and we just started sharing. And I was like, listen, man, that's a tough transition to make for people. And so they
Yeah.
were like, listen, I think you should, like, maybe you should write a book, because the way you're explaining it, and trust me, I was the last person thinking about writing
Right.
anything like that.
Like,
That's a lot of work.
isn't it kind of like a narcissistic in your head? Like, you think like it's kind of like a narcissistic thing to do. It's like, how would I write a book? Who do I think I am, kind of thing.
That's exactly what it is, right? And even now that it's been written, right? It's like, so who really wants to read it? Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
who Little Pie is. So are they really going to pick this book up? And so first of all, again though, understand the message you want to deliver and your content. And then man, just like write a little bit here, right? Every time something comes to, because it'll eventually come to you, right? There's no way you're gonna sit there and just write a book and
Yeah.
like just write it out. So there'll be different things that come to you, man. And that's what I did. I just kind of took different components of different parts of, you know, the journey. I kind of took different components from it. And I just kind of, I said, okay, this is what I want to share with people. This is what I don't want to share with people, right? So I
Okay.
didn't want to share the marriage and why it got to that point, because
Mm,
I didn't want to put anybody else out there, right?
yeah.
So this book is about me. So how could I keep this about me and me helping others heal? So you definitely have to have the intent. You can't just be trying to figure out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, you have to be intentional about what your delivery is and what message that you want to send out to people. So that's definitely the process. And then just write as much as you can, and it'll all come together eventually, because then you'll start being able to piece this chapter along with that chapter. And did I write it all in order? No, because it didn't come to me all in order. So you just
Yeah.
write different components of it, and then when you get ready, then you just kind of start piecing it together, and then it'll slowly come together. Because I honestly I had no one to look to
Really.
help, nobody.
Wow. So there's like, because we wanted to ask you also.
You kind of answered a couple of our questions throughout.
Because we definitely wanted to ask like if you had inspirations and stuff like that when it came to writing, but like you said, it's kind of something that just came to you. You weren't looking for it. It kind of became, it was kind of given to you. It was like I don't know how to say it, like kind of like a, not a burden, but like it was something that you had to carry.
To do to like.
Yeah, no, it was a burden. It was a burden.
I was trying to phrase it nicely.
I'm the first one. Like I'm the first one, and like out of all the people I'm associated with, and I've toured for years doing music. Out of all the people I'm associated, I'm like the first one to write a book, right? So I really had no one to look to. So I did some research, on authors and writing different types of books, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever it is. And that was just for me to learn how to format this particular piece properly. Because I didn't just want to release it and it just be something that people are like, so what is this?
What's
like,
going on?
I
Yeah.
hear what he's saying, but how? Like, where do they do this at? How do they just write whatever? And so I did my research, and then I honestly had a couple of offers in terms of publishing deals.
Oh, really? Wow. Nice.
So when they were talking numbers like 70-30 and like 65-35, I'm like, nah. I wrote this though, right? I did all the writing. I created my cover. I did all my artwork. How am I giving you all the money for something? You had no part of it. Yeah. I'll grind. If I sell 100, I sell 100, right? If I sell,
but it's 100% yours.
but it's 100 exactly. So yeah, I was like, I just can't do that. And then they like to hit you with the, wow, look at this book. This is the one yeah, I get that, right? But I can't pay you for all the work that I've done. And
Yeah.
It's
even
kind of the
you
same
being,
with the
yeah,
podcasting world.
and you
Mm-hmm.
still have to promote your book, whether you're signed to them or not. So now that's more work that I
Okay.
have to do, right? And I'm
Yeah.
still, so yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm a numbers guy, and those numbers just didn't add up to me.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah, and like Rock was saying, like it's the same thing with the podcasting world. Like they try to offer you like some type of deal.
Yeah, or
But
sponsors, and it's
mhm,
like, to what point do we have control over the content that we want
yeah,
to show to the people?
like at a point where remember we're supposed to be sponsored by somebody, and then they wanted us to like limit, the vulgarity and stuff like that
Yeah,
in our language, like how we talk.
like how we talk, or like
Yeah,
censor how we would talk about like sports, or how we would talk about music. And for us, it's like we're not really being ourselves
yeah.
right now.
Because I mean, if I'm gonna curse, I'm gonna curse, and I can't have somebody like monitor
Control.
that. Yeah.
Listen, why do you build your own brand, right? So that you
Oh,
can
of
have,
course.
right? So why,
Yeah.
again, that's just like writing, right? So if I would have taken a publishing deal, maybe certain things I put in there, they wouldn't have wanted me to share, right? So you're
Hmm.
Yeah.
telling me, right, this is my vision. I'm passionate about getting this message out. Now you want me to silence certain areas of this because you're a part of it. We're good. I'll hold on to this.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
again, I'll grind it out the way I'm gonna grind it out, because if I'm going to deliver it, I have to be comfortable with what I deliver. So yeah, and we have a podcast as well. But we
Yeah.
haven't had
Yeah.
any offers. Yeah, we haven't had any offers. However, the content is what you want people to get out of it. And that's why
Exactly.
people, love your show. Not because like, hey, listen, we're
Appreciate
gonna
that.
go ahead and check out JaySquared because they're sponsored by. Nah, that's like
Exactly.
that's never.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one ever wants
Yeah.
to see something because who is sponsored by. Like sponsored by, you're just getting free advertising, right? So
Yeah.
just enjoy it and let us rock out.
And I appreciate that because definitely it's something that we've been looking at. We're like, man, this just doesn't feel like us. And I know when you're writing and when you contact these publishers or they contact you, it just doesn't feel like it's yours anymore. And that's one of the things you kind of want to get away from. But we did, and you definitely answered like editing things out. But I like how you kind of like go out on your shield, like you do it on your own terms. You're not
Yeah.
doing it because somebody's telling you to. You're doing it because you feel like it's the right move.
Yeah, so I had an independent editor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I kicked you.
It's okay.
So the thing was, this can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So before you start chopping, I'm just gonna let you know my do's and my don'ts, right?
Gotcha.
That way we can understand the message that I'm trying to get out, right? And you're not trying to navigate through something else, or you're not trying to put your own little spin on it. It's not your book. Not to be arrogant, not to be disrespectful, but it's not your project. It's my baby, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm paying you for, and I need you to do it this way and this way only. And we good. We'll be good at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's like I'm paying you to do this and don't do nothing more. It's not. And you did mention that you did have a podcast, 5 sessions, right? So tell us kind of what that's about, because pretty much what we talk about are things like this, sports, movies, things that we kind of
Basically anything, or anything that we're interested in.
Yeah.
So,
So tell us about 5 sessions. What's that about?
Vibe sessions, it is what it is. It's a vibe, right? We just
Nice.
discuss life, love, and music, right? So again, us being myself and my co-host Nitty Green, who's a part of the group Riff, and he also sang with the '90s band Minivision. So we have ties to '90s music. That's just who we are, and we do have some relationships. So what we did was actually I wasn't even pinned as the first co-host of the show. It was something he and his lady came up with, and they just wanted to keep the group relevant during the pandemic. So things didn't it didn't work the way they, thought it would work. So what he did was he knew I was writing the book. So he invited me on to kind of interview me about the book, let everybody know it's coming out. And that particular interview went extremely well. So we had a part 2 to the interview. And part 2 went well as well. So he was like, listen, why don't we just, just do the show together?
Yeah.
And so they invited me on. So yeah, since then man, it's been a lot of fun, man. We've invited a few guests, man. We've had a few '90s artists like Shanice, Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci. We've had Force MDs, they're '80s really. We had Big Bub from Today. We had Shy. We had I don't even know, Allure. We had Allure. We had Divine. We've had some real nice guests, man, came through and like hung out with us, man. And Men at Large. We had the guys from Men at Large, man, Basic Black. So yeah, we brought some guys through there, man, and just to let people know that hey, these guys are still working, right? Go support what they're doing. And so we've had moments, man. We've cried, we've laughed, we've celebrated guys. So that's just our format. We just I'm the life guy, really, I guess, based on me being
of course, since you're the author, you're gonna be the life guy.
The life guy, right? And the love guy, really, right?
Of course, well, because you wrote a book.
But we all share, and these components because we all have some dealing in these particular areas of life, life, love, and music. So it's a cool show. We run it on Sundays, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. 5 Sessions Official
awesome.
is the page. So yeah, myself, Nitty Green, our producer Danielle Silva, she even make appearances on the show as well and hang out on some of the formats. So it's a pretty cool situation, man. It's fun. Again, it's fun. We're independent and we get to enjoy what we want to enjoy. However, sometimes we can't always reach back and play the music of the guests that we have because the companies, it's
of course, copyright and stuff like that.
Even if you write all that stuff or type all that stuff prior to you playing it, they'll still chop your show up.
Of course.
We've gone through that with YouTube. So there's been sometimes where we had to like cut clips or like flip them so that it doesn't get
exactly.
shut down.
Yeah. And I did want to ask you, like, this is a question that I was thinking about. So I do this like every time.
It's okay.
When you go from that transition, from definitely like from that divorce period into the dating world, is it like a time loop? Like, because I imagine like you being, when you're in your family and stuff like that, you guys are in your space. But then when you step outside of that, like when you're past that phase and you have to go into the dating world again, is it like, whoa, this is not how it used to be?
Yeah.
Like, how did you deal with that?
Getting back into dating, man. Wow. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. I'm gonna tell you, I did what I did personally was I just did little things to gauge whether or not I was ready mentally and emotionally, right? So I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I actually put this in the book too. I just didn't attach a name to it.
Gotta bite from the book.
So this is what happened, right? I knew a young lady, and we kind of ran into each other. We kind of bumped into each other. So at the time, I was like, hey, listen, come by the house, hang out, let's watch a movie or two, whatever. Eat a couple of burgers, hot dogs, or whatever. Let's enjoy the night. So she was like, cool, let's do that. So she did. She agreed to come over. So she came to my place. This is probably middle January, February, up north it's hot outside. I mean, cold outside. Jersey is blistering cold. So most people have their heat on in their house, right? It makes sense, right? So, she came to the house, went downstairs, I let her in, right? So as soon as she walked into my apartment though, the first things that came out of her mouth was like, man, it's hot in here. So I was like, wow. And I asked her to leave.
Wait, hold on. No.
Yeah,
no.
I did. I promise you. I swear to you on everything I love. I did. I asked her to leave because
Wait,
I'm
Why?
gonna
Why?
no,
Why?
yeah, like,
He's gonna say why. Just
and,
relax.
and I'm gonna tell you why. I had okay again. Remember, I'm gauging on whether or not I'm ready, right, to get
you were
back
Yeah,
into
you
yeah,
this.
you
yeah.
had her, like, you were there, like that. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So this is what happened, right? So my thing was, I felt like she came in complaining. That's just where I was mentally. Not to say that that's what it was, right? But that's just where my headspace was at that particular time, right? Because the one thing I kept saying through my whole healing process was, I'm gonna no matter what, I'm gonna always protect my peace, right? So
Yeah.
your guard is up, and your guard is up heavy. So yeah, so I asked her to leave because I really felt like she came in the house complaining. Because my thing was, okay, you come to this young man's house, the house is clean, smelling fresh, it looks good, and it's January, it's cold outside, and he has heat, so you should be comfortable.
You should be
Instead,
happy.
Yeah.
yeah, instead the first thing come out your mouth was, it's hot in here. So I did. I asked her to leave. So I was talking to my guys the next day, and it was like, yo, Pie, man, that was a bit much. You were a little harsh, maybe you should call her, you should apologize, and just try to, make it up, guys do another date or something. So like a fool, I listen to my boys, because normally when I
Slowly
when I'm
pan off
cool with the
screen.
decision I make, I'm pretty much cool with the decision I make, right?
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
As you should.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so against my better judgment, I did. I placed the call, I did apologize, and I set up a date to go hang out with her, right? Uh,
Hmm.
so I said, listen, let's do the movies this weekend. She's like, oh, great. What are we going to see? At the time, Why Did I Get Married 2 was out.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, right. So we go to a theater in New Jersey called the Clifton Commons in Clifton, New Jersey. So if she
Hmm.
drives and I drove, right? I'm like, yo, just meet me there because I got some things I got to do prior to us going to the movies. So just meet me there, And it was probably an afternoon movie. It was probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, so we meet at the movie theater, purchase the tickets. So I said, let's go to the concession stand because we already know the trailers to any movie is about 45 minutes
Oh,
long before the movie starts, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're at the concession stand and we're buying, you know, whatever it is we're going to eat on and drink. So I run into some friends of mine at the concession stand,
Mm.
and it was like, hey, So we all spoke. I said, I want you guys to meet my friend. Again, I can't give no names. I don't want nobody to beat me up or be suing me later,
Of
right?
course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So, so after I introduced her, so now we move into the movie theater. So we're sitting there, we're watching the trailers, we're settling in with our whatever we're eating, and now she questions me about the way I introduced her. So I'm like, so what's wrong? She's like, yeah, you like your friend. I was like, well, yeah, like what, like who else are you? Like I just kicked you out
Yeah.
my house for complaining about the heat, right? This is what I'm saying to myself, right? So we both drive to this movie theater in separate vehicles. So I'm like really processing this in my head. And you're sitting here complaining about me introducing you as a
As a
friend.
Wow.
friend.
So
Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Everywhere.
long
Yeah.
story short, I'm not a confrontational individual. I don't do confrontation. I don't do conflict, right? I don't do arguing. That's just something I don't do. Like if
Mhm.
me and
Gotcha.
my lady has an issue, she can fuss all she want. Yeah, whatever. Go lock yourself in a room. Do something. Like we're not
Yeah.
doing that. Come here, give me a hug. I'm annoying. Like if you're mad, I'm the most annoying person in the world to be around because
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you be mad around me, right?
Because you're unbothered. You're
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
unbothered individual.
Yeah. So we're sitting there and she's going. She's going. So just as the movie getting ready to come on, I'm like, listen, do me a favor. Hold my drink. I'm gonna take a walk to I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. As I'm walking to the bathroom, this whole thing is playing in my head. I just
You
kept
left.
walking, man. I went and got in my car
Yep.
and I went home. I left her there.
That's
the best move.
Listen, okay. You're justified, but damn. You know what
I know, I know.
Like,
Yeah,
you're right, but damn.
I know. But I tell you this though, if you ever meet anybody that knows me personally, they'll be like, "I promise you, he did that."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
okay.
I
You
They'll
absolutely
say
believe.
that. They'll be like, "I promise you, that's who he is," and that's who I am, right? I can't do the small stuff. Like so many things are going on in the world. Like, why are we tripping over the little things? Yeah, I left her there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and she was calling me. I just couldn't deal because I don't allow certain things into my mental space, right? I protect
Yeah.
myself,
Mhm.
and I just couldn't do that. So then I called and I blacked out on all my boys because I told them what happened. And I was like, see, I should have just left it alone when I left it
Told
alone,
you.
right?
Mhm.
But you guys want to be the nice guys. It got me.
Doesn't
Yeah,
always work.
yeah. So and that's when I learned. I tell you what though, I learned that I just wasn't ready.
Damn.
I just wasn't ready. So I learned that, and so I had to really deal with me some more, right? Because what I
Yeah.
didn't want to do is have that carryover effect and take any negative vibes into a new relationship once I had the opportunity to do that because it wasn't her fault of what happened to
Yeah.
me. So why should she have to deal with it? So when I went through that particular process, that's when I knew I really wasn't ready. So I did. I took some more time. So actually, for me, before I got into a real relationship, um, it was 7 years before I actually linked up with somebody, and but again, it was somebody I knew,
Wow.
and it was
Yeah.
through social media. She was on social media, spazzing out about something, and I commented on it, and and she inboxed me, and we started talking. So what happened was she was she's here. She hates when I tell her the story, right? What happened was we were supposed to link up. I was like, yo, come to the house, right? And she's like, all right, I'll come. So I waited up the entire night for her.
Wow.
Oh
Guess what? She stood me up. She never showed up. So I didn't speak to her for a little while. Then we reconnected again, right? And then I was
no.
like,
Okay.
come on, are you gonna come through or what? She's like, yeah, I gotta go see I'm going to my cousin's house. And after I leave my cousin's
Aw.
house, I'm gonna come by, right? So again, I'm at the house, nothing. She don't show up. So I was like, okay, she's not interested. She's never gonna come through. So, but we did, but I knew her. I knew her for some time. So we were, we got a chance to talk a little bit, one time. So then me and my guys, we were all going out. My crew, we was going out to a place called Joe's Crab Shack, right? That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
in New Jersey as well. So I said, hey, listen, me and the crew, we're going out to Joe's Crab Shack. Why don't you come with us? She's like, cool, I'm gonna come, I'll come. I said, okay, you have to come pick you up, or you gonna come to my house? And she's like, I'll come to your place. I said, cool. So we're leaving at 7, just try to be here about 6:15, 6:30, so we can get there, get a good seat, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, telling my dude, I'm like, she's coming through. She's coming through. She's gonna hang out with us tonight, right? Who's gonna miss food? It's a lady, right? Like she's not gonna miss
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to like food.
Then I get a call. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna be able to come. I just got a call that my aunt is dying, and so we have to go see my aunt. And I have you to know, this has been maybe 8 years ago. Just want you guys to know that Auntie is still living. But she was right.
I can hear in the background. Yeah, yeah.
So Auntie is still living, right? But yeah. So she didn't come to Joe's Crab Shack with us, to say the least. However, I gotta admit, later on that evening, when she came back from hanging out with her family, making sure her family was okay, and we got back from Joe's Crab Shack, she did call me and was like, "Listen, if it's not too late, I'll still come over and hang out with you." And she did.
Okay. Okay.
She did.
Okay. I like that. Happy ending.
I love that.
Finally, she did. Yeah. After
And see,
all of the challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like you have to go through those little trials and tribulations before look at us trying to atone for it. You're gonna hear it after this
Right
podcast.
now. Yeah.
But that's the move. That's what you're supposed to do. After the trials and tribulations, you finally get to a place where you're at peace and you found that. And I'm glad you kind of like had to go through the things that you went through in order to like find what you have now. And it took work. It didn't take it took a little bit more than it took more than hey, just come over to the house. It was like, oh damn, I'm kind of hurting at this.
It definitely takes that.
And what we wanted to do, I mean,
just to close this thing off.
Yeah, we wanted to hear about what you have coming up because you have some beautiful stories, man. And
if you have any upcoming projects that we should check out, or even let our fans know, so we can post
it. I'm actually in the process of writing another book. Right.
Wow. Nice. Look at this.
It's becoming ridiculous now. I just want y'all to know. So this is a book actually inspired by my students. This is the first year I've taught second graders. Man, oh man, like it is a challenge behind teaching second graders, especially coming out of the pandemic, right? Because their last year in school prior to this year was when they were kindergartners, right?
Yeah.
They were home for an entire at least year and a half, leading up to this year, which is second grade. So the transition is just like it's crazy. So and we do our books at the district. They mandate that you read to the kids for reading time and stuff. And so the kids challenged me to write a kids book.
Okay.
So I am writing a kids book. I'm kind of.
Do you have any little links or snippets that we could get?
Well, not so much snippets, right? But let me see. I got it written down here somewhere. And this is an exclusive. I just want y'all to know that JaySquared Podcast is getting.
We got it first, baby.
Exclusive, right? Hold on. I got it right. No, Kids Special.
Nice.
So I'll tell you what the backdrop of the story is about. So what happens is you have a lot of kids, right? They come from different particular situations at home. Some kids are doing pretty well, extremely well at home. Some kids not so well. I even have students that are kind of living in hotels with their families because they're transitioning from housing. So things don't always go their way, right? Coming into the school year, they were all kind of nervous about coming back into a population, dealing with people and being accepted. So I created a character that I call Kid Special. And what Kid Special does is helps everyone understand no matter what your journey is, no matter what your path is, no matter what you're dealing with or facing at this particular time in your young life, you're still special, right? There's still something special about you, and you still have special qualities, and this isn't your end. So we can do what we need to do and come together, right? And make sure that you can make it to the next level, the next phase. Like these kids couldn't read when they first got into the second grade class. What parents are doing, I have no idea. You had your kids home for an entire year and a half. I have a young lady who has to look 8 years old. She has to look on the name tag that we put on her desk to spell her name. Stuff like that is difficult for me, right? So now we have to dig in and we have to make these kids believe in themselves and believe that they can do it. And so Kid Special is a character that I did come up with. And we're going to write not nothing crazy because again, I want them to be able to read it and read it on their own and be inspired by this story. So I created that particular character. And actually this is definitely an exclusive on J
Yeah.
Squared. I lie to you not.
This
You
is
will not.
amazing. I like
I
this.
haven't even shared this on my own podcast.
Wow.
Yes.
It's coming from
This
us
is
first.
special. This is
So
special.
you
We
guys
appreciate
have
that a
this
lot.
one. No, I mean you asked, so I'm not gonna be like, yeah, nah, I can't really share because one thing I do is I handle my business when I come up with an idea. So all my copyrights, trademarks, I do all that in the creating phase of it, so that once people know that I have an idea, you can't take my characters
Exactly.
or my type, So yeah, so yeah, man, and I'm excited about that. We have a break, we have a winter break coming up, and I think I'm gonna knock that one out during this winter break because I want them to have the book before the end of the school year.
Man,
Alright.
congratulations with that, man. We love to hear it.
We're actually excited to hear that. So whenever you do publish it or drop it, let us know.
Yeah, and as for the
Oh, for
podcast,
sure.
man. Yeah, as for the
Sure.
podcast,
And
we
created
really.
a bear.
Oh,
We created a bear. I'm waiting for the apparel to come in, and in
Uh-huh.
this on bear is wearing it's cool to be smart, and so the acronym of the bear is PI, which is my nickname, and it's persistent, intelligent, and let me see, I forgot just that quick. That's because I got so much going on, right?
of course you
So
do.
yeah, so it's persistent, intelligent, and efficient. So we're trying to teach kids, you know what I mean, how to transition and get to the next phase. So that's I'll email that to you guys so that you can
Of
see
Yes,
the
course.
please.
actual logo, and then send me your sizes so I can send you guys
Oh,
some
Oh, thank you so
what?
much.
so you guys
Merch.
so yeah, I'm excited about that because what I'm gonna do for Christmas is I'm gonna make sure each kid in the class has either a T-shirt or a hoodie so that they can remind themselves that listen, because I have some young dudes in my class that are pretty smart, but
Mhm.
they rather be cool. So I'm trying to let them know, like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm a pretty cool guy, right? And I have sons that are pretty cool guys that are either in college, went to college, or that are on their way to college. So I want our young people to understand, listen, you can
It's
be
cool to
cool
be
and it's
smart.
cool to be smart, man. Like, listen,
Yep.
you can do so many things being smart, right? So whether you cool or listen, don't think that hinders you from being cool. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
something,
true.
yeah,
As
that's
fellow
something I want
college
to say.
graduates, we
Yeah,
appreciate that a lot.
exactly,
Yeah.
because we
Yeah,
see it a lot.
yeah. Never listen, man. Never dim your light to make someone else brighter, right?
Yeah,
That's their
Another
fault. That's
soundbite.
that's
another
their
soundbite, dude.
problem. They have to do what they have to do to come up, right? So when you got people that's addressing J Squared as, oh, I see you guys little podcast. No, see,
Little podcast.
respectful, right? Because just because that's who you are, this is our thing. This is our baby. So don't try to diminish what we have here. Don't never allow anyone to diminish what you have in your growing process and your growth. You know what I mean? Because hey, it's going to get there. Just remember one thing: everybody had to start somewhere.
Damn, and that's a
Yeah.
beautiful way because we appreciate that because we do work and we put in a lot of hard work and we can see that you do the same. And I mean, with that, I mean, I think that's beautiful.
It's motivating.
Yeah,
It's
like,
motivating.
and we definitely want to get all the information we can to go ahead and put that on our page so we can go ahead and promote what you have going on in your
Yeah.
future endeavors. And when this all drops, like if you can definitely let us know. When,
If y'all don't
yeah,
invite me
we
back,
want you back.
if y'all don't
For
invite
sure.
No,
me
we
back,
want you
I'm gonna
back.
put my own invitation out there, and I'm coming back.
No, we'll definitely have you back. Yeah.
I'm gonna
No,
force
we
my
want to
way
have
back
you
into
back.
the show. I'm gonna be like, remember when Martin forced his way to go to see with? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some Uwe. But yeah, I'm
Trust
definitely
me, it's not a lot of convincing that you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Trust
We're
me.
set. We're good. We're
yeah,
good.
when the projects hit, and I know you guys try to listen. My website, I it's crazy. It's like I
So much.
forgot. I totally forgot about it because I wasn't doing anything. And
Mhm.
Katrina was like, listen, you're being lazy. Let's go do what you're supposed to do. So I had lost my domain and everything. So I had to get it back. So I'm
Okay, that
currently
makes sense.
building my own website. So Katrina, the other day, she said they went on your site and this is what they found. I said, Katrina, I told you you're not supposed to give it to them yet. So I'll definitely send it to you guys. I'm gonna definitely try to finish it in the next week or so. Listen, I see why web designers charge so much money, man.
It's a lot of work.
It's
a lot of work. Trust me.
Together, what I did with the way you got why it was so squished in like that. My crazy stuff hit a button to try to do something to automate something, and I couldn't find the button. Frustrated me. I just slammed the top of the laptop down.
You're like, forget it.
I'll have it together. But I thank you guys, man, for being so patient with me, and I thank you guys. It's definitely an honor for you guys to even want to interview me, man. Listen, I appreciate you so very much.
It's an honor for us, man.
Yeah, the pleasure's all ours, to be honest.
We appreciate you coming on and even like giving us a little snippet exclusive. That's amazing.
And just sharing your knowledge, man, it really did wonders for us. Like this is a great way to like kind of go about an interview, our first Zoom interview at that.
So we appreciate you. We will definitely have you back on for sure.
100%.
Send you guys my telephone number, my personal telephone number, not the voicemail, right? And
for sure.
Yeah.
This is not just for TV. If you guys need me for anything, please text me.
Thank you so much.
Call me, email me. I'll definitely. I ain't high on the horse, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'll definitely respond to you guys because I believe, like, listen, if we're good to people, man, it comes back to you at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm all about love, showing love, and being loved. That's what we were put on this earth for, right? We were like people were put here to love. So yes, whatever I can do for you guys, please. And even if that's promoting JaySquared on my little social media or what I have, I got it.
Likewise, man.
It'd be amazing.
We
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pi. We appreciate it. And thank you for the knowledge and the gifts, of course. And thank you for being on JaySquared.
JaySquared it is. Check them out, people.
All right, that was awesome.
That's great, man.
Yo, shout out to Pi, man. That was amazing. So insightful. He really does have like that type of mentality that you would want from a father figure who's. And unfortunately, in modern day, you see the difference in between now and back in the day where you just stay with one person. But now it's like, and that book is really going to be amazing.
Yeah. And
I advise you guys, go ahead and grab it.
Yeah. And thank you so much also for the exclusive. Like, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's just been all around great because such a good energy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Go ahead and check out his book called The Transition and his podcast called Vibe Sessions on Facebook.
It's gonna be a vibe.
A vibe.
Oh, we did want to go ahead and get into it. Now, our favorite segment, Ximena Needs to Know. So, if you don't know, I think I should go ahead and rehash it with them. No, not at all.
We're in volume 2.
We're volume 2. You guys
have a whole volume.
Watch the old album. Yeah. All right, so pretty much, we did want to go ahead and bring to Ximena's attention. It is Men's Health Awareness Month. Or is it Men's Mental Health Awareness Month?
No, it's Men's Health Awareness. So basically, it's bringing awareness to men who should get tested for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health awareness, and suicide prevention. And this is where it's like a big deal for me because we've been told, just as we were talking about with Pi, we've been told for so long that just to deal with it, just brush it off your shoulders, get up, walk it off. These things are not things that you just walk off. Go ahead and get yourself checked out. It doesn't make you any less of a man to go ahead and make sure that you're okay. There are people that love you. You are loved. And make sure that you keep yourself around long enough to let them feel that from you. And if you need help, like, talk to somebody. Even us. We're here for you guys. All right, moving on. This is all you. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Jesoma's favorite social media. It's not my favorite social media. Yes, it is.
TikTok. What are you talking about?
That's a lie.
I'm hip. I'm young.
No, you're not.
All right. So Facebook is now changing into is now changing into Meta.
It's
So,
a face meta. Good job, Jay.
I
Got it.
you know what? I don't need this from you right now.
You can't read.
I can't read. I can't speak. You already know this about me.
Continue.
But we are now entering the metaverse. So,
That's so
pretty much,
stupid.
it's not stupid. This is the best thing that's ever happened.
Oh my
All
god.
right, this is incredible. So it's funny because on the last chapter, we pretty much went over how, like, you know, chips and robots and all this crazy stuff. So
Black Mirror vibes.
this is kind of what's going on now. The metaverse is going to allow you to pretty much teleport and be in contact with your friends, create your own avatar. You're going to be able to do things like exercise, work out, but it's going to be on a whole new level.
Virtual.
Yeah, everything's going to be virtual. Shopping, exploring, fighting games. It's all going to be amazing.
Yeah, so if you ever watched Black Mirror, it's basically coming to life.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's
it's coming
like
to life.
4 or 5 Black Mirror episodes where whatever meta is going to be is in that episode.
And
so
there
if
are
you're into Black Mirror,
there are conspiracies about it, of it being just like that. And there's conspiracies that he took, like, that name, the name Meta comes from a book where pretty much it's like
I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a distant future
Mhm.
where this exact thing happens and it all goes to shit. So, and they called it the metaverse
That's creepy.
or some shit like that. So it's like,
Hella creepy.
why would you choose that name? But I'm fucking hyped. Chip me up, baby.
Yeah, I will not be attending this. I am deleting Facebook.
You act like you got a choice.
I do. We
All
always
right.
have a choice.
We'll see.
All right.
But welcome to the metaverse.
All right.
And next up, we have Henry Ruggs III.
Yeah. So, sorry, Ximena. We're going to kind of end with,
Why do we always end on the sad ones?
I don't know. All right. So Henry Ruggs, he was a former NFL player. He played for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's 22 years old. He was involved in a car crash where he, upon impact, he killed another person in the other car. His blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit, and he was driving 156 miles per hour. So the person that died, she was pinned into the car and couldn't get out, and she ended up burning to death. Her and her dog.
God.
Yeah. So rest in peace. He has been arrested, and he could face up to 20 years in prison. And there's been multiple charges that have been added, but in Las Vegas history, it's the first time they've ever even found someone to go 156 miles per hour. Like,
really?
That's crazy. So, rest in peace to the victim. And, yeah.
It's one of those things, man. Like, you might love the athlete because I see a lot of people.
Oh, the Raiders released him. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that.
I think you did.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So,
if I didn't.
it's one of those things where we really I want to take a second to let everybody know it's okay to like somebody for what they do, like in their profession. That's great. But please stop defending this man's actions by saying we've all been there. We've all, like.
Crazy thing about him, his best friend died in a similar situation where a drunk driver hit him.
Wow.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to live for you." And then he basically did the same thing to another person. That's
fucking whack.
Yeah.
So. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, let's hold everybody accountable for whatever they do.
Yeah.
And don't defend him by saying, you know, everybody makes mistakes. No, you're not allowed to take lives. That's not a mistake.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to get in a car, go 156, and pretty much kill somebody, have them burned to death. That was your choice.
Yeah.
And
don't drink and drive, guys.
Yeah, don't drink and drive. And look, my personal experience, I've done it before. I've been on that side, and it's never worth it, guys. Just don't do it.
Call an Uber.
Call an Uber.
A Lyft.
And that's
anybody.
What drives me crazy. It's like he has a team of people. He has management. Like, where are they in these moments? Like,
he was with his girlfriend, and also, like, I'm pretty sure a bunch of these NFL teams have a phone number you call and they'll pick you up. So
it's just unnecessary, man.
It was just really very poor choice.
So there you go, Ximena.
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah. But all right,
So
we ended chapter 1 of volume 2.
we did it. We're here,
Look
baby.
at
We're
us.
back.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
Back like nothing happened.
Right. And man, I feel like our chemistry is like smoother too. Like
Amen.
maybe we needed that.
Probably.
That's great.
But all right.
Oh, so we got some shout outs.
Yeah.
Some shout outs. Go ahead.
All right, guys.
Tell them what's going on.
So, we're going to continue doing the podcast. Let's not get this wrong. But I am moving to New York because I got a new job. And insert clap noises. But yeah, so the future of shut up, Jay.
Rooting for you, man.
So the future of our podcast, we're gonna start transitioning into Zoom. So for the visuals, we'll still be in the studio, probably another chapter,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna transition into Zoom until like we could meet up in the future for a location.
Yeah. Definitely. We do want to make sure that we're as engaging as possible.
Yeah.
With you guys and with each other, because we know that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna really try to make it the best experience for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we wanted to kind of come in here to break the news to you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be awesome. We're still gonna be the JaySquared Podcast. Just gonna be different. And
It'll be a little
excited.
different, but hang in there with us. We're gonna try to figure out Zoom and all of that, but hopefully.
And I wanted to say, off the books, I'm extremely proud of you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Doing great. That's awesome.
Trying to. But yeah. Also, shout out to you guys,
Yo,
our fans.
how did this is incredible. It's incredible because we've grown our following. We've done a lot, and they are sticking with us through this, and every day
Still supporting,
Yeah.
still commenting, liking, answering polls. Like, amazing.
It's crazy. And every day we're just baffled. Like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah,
How did
our
this
Halloween
happen?
costumes, like, that
Yo.
post blew up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are like
That was crazy.
dope.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks to HGAB Studios.
Yeah, they've been housing us. This is, I could say with all confidence, has been the most comfortable, attentive setting that we've been in since we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Extremely catered to. We feel like we're part of the family, and I feel like they definitely make sure we feel welcomed.
Yeah.
So if you guys, we might be stepping out, and we're only stepping out because,
Life is happening.
yeah, that's the only reason. But if you guys do have a podcast, have to do some photo shoots, have to do anything,
Check out the studio.
check out HGAB Studios.
All right.
100%.
Also, once again, thank you to Pi. Appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
Definitely will have you on in the future.
Oh man, can't wait for
Yeah.
it.
And last
Thank
but
you,
not
Jamie.
least, Jamie. Even though we still don't have merch,
We might not have merch, but we
But-
have Jamie's love. And
I guess.
what else do we really need?
Jamie's gonna have to work the Zoom interviews.
That's also true. So
That's
when
gonna be fun.
Jamie gets into working these Zoom interviews, we're actually going to be on. We'll be on a better foot.
I hope so. That's a
Doubt
lot
it,
of
though.
pressure on Jamie.
I
So
really
we'll
do
see.
doubt it, though.
We'll see.
Not gonna lie.
We'll see if Jamie steps up to the plate.
Not going to.
All right. I tried.
But here we go. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
We have been the JaySquared Podcast.